second show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
You've seen the architecture and things.
It's really good. Telling it. I'd like to call the March 2019 Poquoson City School Board meeting to order. First up, we will have Pledge to the Flag and Inspirational Reading. Brendan.
Thank you. Hayden Horning is a fourth grader in Mrs. Frisbee's class. She likes gymnastics and loves to make crafts. She has made small houses out of cardboard, which her sister likes to play with. One time, she made an obstacle course for marbles out of cardboard. Her favorite subject is Virginia Studies. During the college and career fair at PES, she heard an archaeologist talk about the work an archaeologist does, and it intrigued her so much that she thinks she might like to study about archaeology someday.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tegan Horning is in Mrs. Williams' fifth grade class. Tegan likes to build and invent things. One time she created a poster about the planets and made the planets so that they would spin. Tegan's family has 3 goats, 3 chickens, 2 dogs, 4 cats, a fish, a hamster, and a bunny. She says her family is very supportive and helps her with her schoolwork. Tegan will be reading an essay she wrote called All About My Family, The Fabulous 5.
Good evening, good people of Poquoson. My name is Tegan Horning, and I'm a 5th grader at PES. I want to thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. Now I want to talk about my family and how they have taught me about being kind to others no matter what. As you all are probably aware, PES hands out a Bulls Don't Bully Award each quarter. I have had the honor of receiving this award for the last 3 years. My sister Hayden got this award for her class, too. Our baby sister Lilybell got the Bucket Filler Award every year she has attended PPS. My mom and dad have both taught us to always do what is right and to treat others the way we want to be treated. We are a close family, and sure, my sisters and I argue, but we still respect each other. We joke around to make each other happy. I take this approach at school with my classmates so that they don't feel left out. It's hard to learn when you're sad. The more you feel included, the better chance you will succeed. I would like to take this opportunity to ask my family to stand up so that I can ask to thank them for making me who I am. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you all. And Mr. and Ms. Horning at the back, Tegan's parents, I would like to thank you as well on behalf of the board, on behalf of the teachers in the system and the community. You don't hear that very often, and it is it's just a pleasure to hear a young person speak that way about their parents. So nice job. Continue it. Thank you. And next up is student presentations. And students, if y'all would stick around for just a few minutes after your presentation, we're going to take a break and we'd like to come out and speak with you. Poquoson Elementary School students will highlight the works and presentation of author Mark Tyler Nobleman, who visited the school last week. His extensive research behind his books, like Bill the Boy Wonder, the secret co-creator of Batman, inspired PES students to do a little digging of their own to create a book on the hidden stories behind Poquoson's community members. Students presenting are Samantha Titko, Brandon Banty, Avery Duncan, Pierce Bentley, Joey Simpson, and Sophia Denano. I'm sorry.
Let's line up here.
Hey, good evening. I'm Dory Holder, the librarian at the elementary school. Let's get started. Looks like I have your attention now. Just like our author Mark Tyler Nobleman captured ours when he visited our school last week. These students will tell you about his books, his presentation, his writing workshop, and the PES project that inspired us to start.
Hi, I'm Avery Duncan, and I'm a fourth grader at Poquoson Elementary School. Our librarian, Miss Holder, talked about Mr. Nobleman for more than a year after she heard his presentation at a conference. She said she had to have him come and tell his story at PES. So first we started reading some of his books. His latest books are nonfiction stories that don't seem to be all they appear. In fact, Mark Tyler Nobleman shows us the hidden story behind the book Fairy Spell, How Two Girls Convince the World That Fairies Are Real. Are they real? You'll have to read the book to find out. 30 Minutes Over Oregon tells of the only enemy pilot to ever drop a bomb on the continental U.S. during World War II. But it is what happened 20 years later that's the real story in this book.
Hello, my name is Brandon Banty, and I'm a third grader and a student of Poquoson Elementary. The book The Boys of Steel reports how two high school boys who look more like Clark Kent than Superman created the first superhero in 1938. Mr. Nobleman enjoyed researching the Superman creator so much that he set out to do the same thing with Batman. After reading an article about the Dark Knight's unsung writer, he published Bill the Boy Wonder, the secret co-creator of Batman. This is where he has a twist or several of them.
I'm Samantha Tickle, a third grader in Poquoson Elementary School. Our whole school got to hear the twist last Wednesday, March 13th, thanks to Poquoson Education Foundation grant, which helped fund his visit and classroom copies of all his books. Mr. Nobleman told us how he wanted to be the first uncover Bill Finger, the secret Batman co-creator. So much that he couldn't just sit at his desk and Google the information. He got out there himself to go through old documents and visit old bills. He showed us exactly how he uncovered incorrect facts in other works, and how he helped Bill Finger's granddaughter fight to get credit on all Batman's work from now on.
Hi, my name is Sophia Donano. I'm a fifth grader at Poquoson Elementary School. Later, after he signed lots of books and autographs, a student from each class got to attend his writer's workshop. He taught us that it is important to grab the reader's attention from the opening sentence of your writing. Mr. Nobleman said the best first sentences have a combination of action, humor, mystery, and characterization. He even used examples from one of his first drafts to show us what not to do. We will remember these suggestions as we do our own writings. His book inspired our own PES project that will require using some detective work. We will follow Mr. Nobleman's advice on research and writing as we continue working on our own book, Hidden Stories of Poquoson Community Members. Our goal is to create an online book that highlights unknown stories of people who in the past or currently reside in Poquoson. There are so many interesting facts that many people don't know about our city and its residents.
Hello, my name is Josephine Ray Simpson, and I'm a 5th grader at the Poquoson Elementary School. Each class is paired with a community member who comes to PES for an interview. We get to ask all of the questions to help understand about each person's hidden story. Over the last month, students have interviewed 14 men and women, and we still have several more interviews to conduct. We cannot tell you all the hidden stories so far because that would be a spoiler. But we can tell you that we learned untold knowledge. From the police chief, a Poquoson historian, a Purple Heart recipient, Poquoson's first African-American teacher, and even our superintendent, Dr. Parrish, to name a few.
Hello, my name is Pierce Bentley. I am a 4th grader from Poquoson Elementary School. Well, we will use the Book Creator app on our Chromebooks to create the page for each of our special community members. At the end of the school year, the book will go live online on the school website, and a print version will be published for the school to keep. We will even send a copy to Mark Tyler Nobleman. Who knows? Maybe he will get some inspiration from us too. All the community members will be invited to an assembly and reception held during the last week of school. That way we can honor each person for helping with our project, and the whole school gets to hear about every community member.
This is the story of how a little book about Batman, along with some others, has motivated a supersized project that incorporates reading, writing, inquiry, technology, collaboration, and communication among our students. Thanks so much.
Do we have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
We do not this evening.
Next up is recognitions. Dr. Parrish.
Yes. As Dr. Carter makes his way to the podium, I would like to ask that our March Student of the Month, Alyssa Roberts, come forward, please. Alyssa is an independent and capable young woman who has a kind and compassionate heart. She's been a wonderful mentor to new students through our student-to-student program and is unmatched in her abilities as a second-year counseling office aide. Alyssa has been an active member of DECA throughout her high school years and has competed at both state and national levels, consistently earning high praise from the judges. She's earned honor roll during each of her 4 years at PHS and has also been involved in the SCA, Save the Bees Club, Key Club, and International Club. She also served as a special friend for Miss Eastman's 5th grade class. Outside of school, you may have seen her working at Tropical Smoothie, AMC Movie Theater, or at Journeys and Patrick Henry Mall. Upon graduation in June, she plans to major in business and marketing at James Madison University. Please join us in congratulating Alyssa Roberts as the PHS March Student of the Month. Next, we'd like to recognize the Volunteer of the Month, so if Kathleen Orr would please come forward. Kathleen is the Volunteer of the Month for Poquoson Elementary School. She and her husband Charles have 3 daughters attending Poquoson City Schools. The 2 oldest are twins, Chase and Madison, who are in 9th grade, and Alex, who is in 3rd grade. Kathleen has worked with the PTO at all 4 schools. She currently is the chairperson for hospitality at the elementary school, but has also worked with the hospitality at the other 3 schools. While at PPS, she helped with the Bag It Books, a program which allows students to select a book to keep 2 times a year. At PPS and now at PES, Kathleen reads once a week with students. Kathleen has also helped with the band and chorus boosters at the high school. Poquoson Elementary School is very grateful for all of the hard work that Kathleen does to coordinate the delicious lunches and holiday treats provided by the PTO. It is reason to be happy when PES staff sees her heading down to the teacher's lounge with a cart full of delicious surprises. I can also attest to her volunteer work because I saw her last week at the faculty student basketball game event as well. So she is very busy. So please join me in congratulating her on being the volunteer of the month for us. Next, we'd like to recognize Morgan Miller, if she'd please come forward. Morgan is a senior at Poquoson High School. She is on the PHS swimming varsity team. During regionals, Morgan helped the girls qualify to swim for the girls 200 free relay and 200 medal relay at states. At the 2A state championship, Morgan swam the 200 free and the 500 free. Morgan returned to finals as top seed for both of these events. Morgan smashed her morning Class 2 record by 8 seconds for the win and state record with a time of 1 minute 49 seconds and 13 seconds, partial seconds. Morgan went on to swim and broke her own 500 record by 2 seconds from last year for the win and state record with a time of 4:53:18. Morgan then legged the girls 200 free relay with a 50 split of 22:21 seconds and did fly on the 200 medley with 26:02. This is a lifetime personal best time. She is excited to attend Virginia Tech for her swimming and academic career. She has yet to decide on her major, but she is looking forward to her future and memories. And I also heard this evening, I believe you've never lost a high school swim. Yeah, she is humble. So please join me in congratulating Morgan Miller for her accomplishments. And next, we'd like to recognize two of our students who made all-state chorus. So first, if Cassidy Tucker would come forward. Cassidy Tucker is a senior at Poquoson High School who was selected to attend Virginia All-State Choir as soprano 2. She has been in choir all 4 years of high school, and this year is in the Evolution Show choir. Cassidy has also been in drama 2 years, acting in the one-act plays and spring musicals. She is a member of the Thespian Honor Society and will enroll in the 2+2 program at TNC to study veterinary science. Please join me in congratulating Cassidy Tucker. Next, I'd ask that Olivia Hollowell come forward, please. Olivia is a junior at Poquoson High School who was selected to attend all-state chorus as soprano 1 in the choir. She is a member of Evolution and a drum major for the band. She was also in the all-state choir last year. Olivia has been involved in drama and music since she's been in 5th grade. She will be in the upcoming musical Grease from April 18th through the 20th high school. She has been on honor roll since middle school and hopes to attend JMU when she graduates. Please join me in congratulating Olivia for making all-state chorus again. Now we'd like to recognize our students who were successful in DECA, which is the Distributed Education Club of America, and they were state winners. Unfortunately, Tyler Bielenberg is unable to attend this evening, but I would ask that Brian Major come forward. Brian and Tyler were top finalists at the DECA state competition, which qualifies them to continue on to compete in the DECA International Career Development Conference on April 26th to May 1st in Orlando, Florida. They will be competing in the Entrepreneurship Team Decision-Making event. They competed against 37 teams and 74 students at the states and received one of the top 9 performance scores. Students are evaluated based on their presentation skills, content competency, strategic planning ability, and 21st century skills. Brian is a senior at Poquoson High School. This is his first year in DECA, and he is currently taking sports and entertainment marketing and digital marketing. Brian also played on the Poquoson High School varsity football team the last 2 seasons and was on the varsity wrestling team this season. Upon graduating, Brian plans on attending either the University of South Alabama, Auburn University, or Louisiana State University. Tyler has asked that we go ahead and read about him at this meeting. So I'd like to share with you that Tyler is a junior at the high school and has been in marketing for 3 years. He's been a member of DECA and has attended 3 DECA district leadership competitions, 3 state leadership competitions, and 2 international career development competitions. This year, Tyler will be competing on a team event for entrepreneurship. He plans on attending Thomas Nelson for 2 years, then going to Radford University, working toward a degree in business and marketing. While they're not up here, I'd like to also recognize Mrs. Bowden and Mrs. LeBlanc for their support of the DECA program at the high school. So at this time, if you please join me in congratulating Brian and Tyler, and we wish them the best of luck at the national competition.
And we will now break so we can meet with you all.
can't move this.
It's the
They
problem.
are, the little tiny ones.
It's not good. It's not good. Actually, it's
Okay, we'll move into presentations and reports, and up first is the financial update with Ms. Woodruff.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. For the finance report this evening, I am pleased to report that since our last meeting, the General Assembly approved a budget for the fiscal year 2020. Dr. Parrish will be presenting the proposed budget in the work session immediately following this meeting. The budget will be available for review tomorrow on the PCPS website, as well as at the Poquoson Public Library. Additionally, there will be a public hearing on the budget here on Tuesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? All right, and next up, operations update with Mr. Pappas.
Good evening, school board, Dr. Carter, and superintendent. This evening's operation report, we'll start out with safety. Virginia state law requires that every public school conduct a tornado drill, and today at 9:45 across the state, all schools, including ours, participated in said drill so that we may be practiced in the event that one ever should strike. High-efficiency LED lights have replaced the much less efficient mercury halide lamps that formerly illuminated the PES parking lot and bus loops. In transportation, all schools are required to conduct 2 bus evacuation drills each year, and in this month we've concluded all of those requirements for students who avail themselves of transportation. And in food service, Poquoson School Food Service received an administrative review of the USDA food program at all of our school facilities. No deficiencies were noted by the administrative portion of the review, and we're very happy to report said findings, or lack thereof. And that concludes my report.
I have Mr. Pappas stay up there for a second, just in case you end up question, but what I wanted to do as part of the operations update, which we're going to do for you now monthly, different people doing this. Last month, as you know, the architects were actually here and spoke with you. I wanted just to provide you this update and do it publicly so that our community could see as well. Do know that we continue to update the PMS Modernization Project webpage. So it's recently been updated. We also are keeping the Twitter feed from that updated as well, so the community knows where we are with our project. So what you see here is the latest schedule, and this schedule we've received as a result of our work with the architects in the last few weeks. So you see here on May 2nd is when, at this point, things we anticipate we'll get our first schematic design and some cost estimates. Once we get that, we'll be seeking community input. We'll be holding an event where we'll invite all of the community to come in so they're able to give some input as to what they see that they're interested in done with the middle school. On July 25th, we'll get another design development from the architects, and we'll be able to comment on that work that they received to us. And then on October 17th, the first beginnings of the construction documents will be provided to us. There you see January 15th of next year, the pre-final, and as well as the permits and inspections submittal will be at that time. Know that throughout this time period, we are starting to draw down on the funding that the city's provided for the project, so we do pay the architectural firm at different points throughout this project. And then you see there that we'll have the bid documents submitted, advertised for the bid in March, hopefully awarding that contract on around May 12th of 2020. So I think it gives you and the community a sense of how we'll be moving along in the project. So we're continuously moving. Could change slightly as we do move through the project, but I wanted this schedule to be out in front of you. Next, I'd like to, for the community's sake, I know I've been updating you all, but to let everybody know what we've done in the last couple of weeks. It's been a couple of busy weeks for us. Back on March 7th, the architectures met with me, Dr. Fox, as well as Mrs. Bunting, to begin discussing the instructional needs of the middle school program. So they would what instructional programs we're running, what those needs are, and how that impacts the facility. On that same day, I took the architects on a tour. We did two of the schools that day. We did the elementary school actually on March 13th. But what they wanted to do was tour the other three buildings, how we use our facilities, and how our instructional programs impact our use of the facilities. So that's why we did those tours. They also, on the 7th rather, stayed and attended the instructional showcase. So they actually stayed. That started at 6 o'clock, if I remember correctly. It went till 7:30, and they were there for most interacted with our students, not only our middle school students, but also other students to get a sense of what we're doing. And they actually were very impressed with it. And one of them said, wow, I wish that my school. It was a great event, but it really showcased the fact that they really want to get to know our schools as they're doing that design work, and I appreciated that. So on the 13th, the architects took members of the middle school faculty, so a group of teachers, I believe it was 8 teachers, as well as Mrs. Bunting, and then some of us from the school board office to tour James Blair Middle School, because that's a middle school that they most recently designed. It is up and operating, so it gave us the opportunity to look at some of the spaces that they designed a little differently for instruction that really move towards 21st century instruction. The school folks were with us. They took us around all throughout the building, and great tour, and then we came back to the middle school and spent the afternoon then meeting with the architects to process what we'd seen at the middle school, and so the architects could start talking to teachers specifically about the needs that they have for the instruction that they do. And then the architects, at the end of that day is when we went toward the elementary, and then they came back for a full day on the next day and interviewed individual teachers as well as sometimes pairs of teachers, for example, the band and music teachers together. Also, Mr. Bennett from the high school came, was part of one of the interviews, talking about what we could do to that building to facilitate the athletic events on the field behind the middle school. So it was a very long day. I believe they were interviewing from 8 o'clock, but a very beneficial day. And right now they are doing some work on what they call the programming piece of this, so that they really capture what our instructional needs are, and I'll be talking with them shortly about the next steps where they develop those schematic plans for the May 2nd. Very busy, very thorough, but exciting, because teachers at the middle school know we're really doing this, because now they're able to be involved in the planning. So that's our update on this project. And again, I do encourage the community to check out our website, our Twitter feeds, and we'll keep everybody updated as we move through the program.
Thank you. Any questions, comments there? Thank you, sir. And next up, instructional update with Dr. Fox.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, Vice Chair Sheeler, members of the board, and Dr. Parrish. The instructional update this evening will focus on our K-12 Literacy Committee. So over the course of this school year and throughout next school year, we will be working toward the development of a new fluid K-12 literacy model that will include the fundamentals of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Our current literacy model is a K-5 model, and it includes important elements, some of which we will amend and others will move directly over into the new K-12 model. Our new model will also reflect recent revisions to the standards of learning. It'll reflect various tiered intervention strategies in response to student needs, and it'll reflect current practices in the area of literacy. It'll also have a cross-curricular focus with technology integrated when appropriate. And because literacy impacts students in all subjects and not just in English and language arts, our literacy committee is comprised of core, elective, and special education teachers, as well as our reading specialists, library media specialists, administrators, and other division staff. By the spring of 2020, our goal is to have a fully developed K-12 literacy model that we can share with all teachers and staff and begin implementation in the 2021 school year. So it's an exciting process, and we're grateful to all of the committee members for their work this year and moving into next school year. So that concludes my report this evening. Dr. Carter.
Ma'am, questions, comments?
Thank you.
Right, do we have any public comment tonight? And Sheila, could you walk us through the consent agenda?
Yes, the consent agenda tonight includes the approval of financial reports, approval of personnel action, authorization to approve minutes of the February regular meeting, authorization to approve minutes of the special meeting on February 13th, and authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with request.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? And a second? And Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And other matters for consideration, item A, consideration of approval of first reading of changes to policy 7 TAC 2.2, admissions to second reading. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, so we're bringing forward you a policy change, and this is a result of federal legislation, which is included in the Act. The McKinney-Vento Act is what directs. Also, the Every Child Succeed Act has language related to this too. So as a result of some changes to those acts, we need to expand the definition, add some other information in your policy. Know that also linked to this policy will be developed a new superintendent's regulation that will help us guide the implementation of these changes. Often we do hear the question, well, do we have homeless students? And we do have homeless students. We have, I think it comes to close to a 1% mark, actually, of remember that these students are not students who you may see on the side of the road, but maybe have families doubled up homes, or students who may be moving from home to home, finding a place to stay as they attend our schools. So we do work closely with those students and their families. And, I would ask tonight that you approve first reading of this policy, and we'll bring it back to you next month for second reading and approval.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
And second?
Second.
Any questions, comments there? No? Okay, Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And next item, consideration of approval of proclamation for Military Child Month and special month to recognize and pay tribute to military families and their children for the daily sacrifices made. Virginia has the highest number of active duty school-aged children in the nation. These children are a source of pride and honor to us all, and it's only fitting that we take the time to recognize their contributions, celebrate their spirit, let our men and women in uniform know that while they are taking care of us, we are taking care of their children. Do I have a motion to approve the proclamation for Military Child Month? And a second? Second. Comments, questions there? Ms. Reimers?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And communications, other matters for school board, Dr. Parrish.
Yes, as Ms. Woodruff said, I'll be presenting my proposed budget in the work session with you all today. I also wanted you to know that tomorrow afternoon, I will go to all 4 schools as schools end. I move from school budget presentation for any faculty and staff who are interested in hearing it. And I also will get it recorded by the end of the week, so we'll have it up on is linked to our websites. And along with the Military Child Month, I just think it's important to recognize we get as a result of having those families in the very large grants that we've received. So many of the presentations that you tied to the STEM grant or the project-based learning grant, we had a couple of articles in the newspaper that connect into project-based learning that our students are doing. So, and also mentioned tonight, one of our students, as I read, was in S2S, which is a program actually originally developed by the military to help schools integrate into the schools when they're new. And so we are very active with that program at the high school level and to a little bit smaller level at the middle school level. So they are an important part of our community, and we continue to provide them the support they need as their parents are supporting us and supporting our country. And lastly, yes, spring break is now less than a way. So we will be on spring break the first full week of April. Offices will be closed, and when we get back, we are in our last quarter of the year, and just a reminder, we have a lot of spring activities out there that the community is encouraged to come and watch or participate in as we move what will be rapidly to the end of the school year. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Brendan.
Thank you. The first report comes from the primary school. Poquoson Primary School is eagerly anticipating the spring season. Our second grade students participated in Jump Rope for Heart and held the annual Senior Social, raising almost $6,000 so far. The Senior Social event provided time for students to enjoy games, line dancing, bingo, and punch and cookies with grandparents or a special adult. Read Across America Week brought several exciting opportunities to our students and community members. Our students kicked off the week by dressing as their favorite Dr. Seuss characters and parading around the school. We welcomed readers from the community to our Real Men Read event, coordinated by Mr. Charlie French and the PEF. Students listened to local author Elizabeth Fletcher read her latest book, and met the star of her story, a Labradoodle named Lincoln. Families were welcomed to our book fair family night, where they could walk the building to see students' artwork displayed, play minute-to-win-it games, play drums made from exercise balls, choose new books, and design an art piece as a family. Several teachers and groups of students showcased their learning in the Instructional Showcase held at the high school. Kindergartners showed how they begin their day with morning tubs. First graders demonstrated their STEM projects, and writers' workshops writing. Second graders shared their Dr. Martin Luther King speeches. Our pre-K students' projects and pictures were displayed, and students had the chance to recreate PE games involving collaboration and problem solving. The primary school thanks all of those involved in planning the Instructional Showcase. Last week, all of our students had the opportunity to meet Mark Tyler Nobleman and hear about his journey as a superhero author. Students wore their superhero shirts and completed superhero projects leading up to the school assembly. We are thankful for the many experiences our students had over the last month, allowing us to meet new people and share our learning with them. Thank you for your support of Poquoson Primary School. The next report comes from the elementary school. March has been an exciting month at PES. February ended with Career and College Week. The fifth graders took a field trip to CNU to get to see what a local university looks like. On Friday, PES had a career fair with 23 adults visiting to share their careers with students. There were exciting careers to learn about, such as a pilot, archaeologist, orthopedic doctor, and many more. PES participated in the Instructional Night showcasing students playing the ukulele, sharing games they created having to do with probability, new binoculars to use on the PES Nature Walk, and some fun STEM activities. On March 13th, we had author Mark Tyler Nobleman spend the entire day at PES. As you heard in our presentation, the students loved every minute of his visit and are now working on a book about hidden stories of the Poquoson community. Currently, PES is in the middle of Jump Rope for Heart and has raised approximately $3,000 for the American Heart Association. This Friday night is the PES PTO movie night, featuring Hotel Transylvania 3. The next report comes from the middle school. We are currently gearing up for academic career planning at PMS. Throughout the month of April, the middle school counselors meet with every 8th grade student and his or her parents to create individualized academic and career plans. During these meetings, counselors, students, and parents review educational and occupational options, then work together to lay the framework for accomplishing the students' goals. Plans created in 8th grade are reviewed and updated annually with the student's high school counselor until the student graduates. This quarter's all-in character trait is responsibility. On March 1st, Poquoson Middle School was introduced to a brand new superhero, Captain Responsible. Students were encouraged to explore possible superpowers, costumes, and an arch nemesis for their superhero. The superhero theme was in honor of our guest author, Mark Tyler Nobleman, who spoke to the student body on March 12th about his research into the history of two iconic comic book heroes, Batman and Superman. PMS will be hosting Night of the Arts this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Student artwork will be displayed in the cafeteria. The band will play in the auditorium, followed by our variety show entitled Songs from the Big Screen. We hope to see you there. The final report comes from the high school. Poquoson High School continues to charge ahead with lots of exciting events happening both in and out of our classrooms. Our faculty and students showcased the learning process at the PCPS Instructional Showcase, with murals created from painter's tape, literary board games, science experiments, investigating topics such as password security, and much more. All 11th grade students completed the end-of-course SOL writing examinations this month, and the PHS Library hosted a week-long celebration of literacy for Read Across America Week, including our very own Comic-Con event. PHS students were recognized by NASA for their inventions as part of the NASA Hunch High School Students United with NASA to Create Hardware program, with 6 students selected to travel to Johnson Space Center in April to receive feedback on their designs. These students were selected over students from 600 other schools, and the designs include a tool pouch as well as an integrated software program for space station equipment repairs. Students in our marketing programs competed at the DECA State Leadership Conference, with 2 students qualifying to compete at the national conference. PHS was recognized this morning for the Get It Together Buckle Up campaign, beating out over 30 schools to be recognized for our ongoing activities to increase seatbelt safety. Our choral and band departments competed at their formal assessments, with a cappella choir receiving straight excellence on stage and a superior rating in sight singing. The combined women's chorus received an excellent and superiors on stage and a superior in sight singing, overall averaging in a grade of an excellent. The Islander Band received a superior rating and was named a Virginia Honor Band for the 10th consecutive time. Our students also came together this month to celebrate Springfest, a week-long event that honored the diverse interests in our school and culminated in a Saturday evening event with a DJ, food, games, and a petting zoo. Additionally, our Odyssey of the Mind team had an excellent showing at the regional competition this past weekend. The next few months are sure to bring more good news, and we invite the community to join us for a fantastic spring sports season. Our spring band and chorus concerts, as well as our spring musical, Grease. Be sure to check our website for all the dates and for the latest accomplishments of our students and events within our school community. That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Holcomb.
Mr. Chairman. A couple of things. I was really impressed with the Morgan Miller story tonight. Did you, Dr. Parrish, remembered she had not lost? And I talked to her and her mother about that. She has not lost her junior or senior years in swim at all, won every single race. But I found out a second part of that story. She said she used to lose a lot when she was younger and just hung in there and worked hard, and that perseverance paid off in the end. So it was a very good story. I thought I wanted to share that. Secondarily, I was able to attend the symphony concert. I guess it was a kind of a competition evaluation over at TAB a couple of weeks ago. I was sitting back in the back, running over there from work, and found myself strangely moved by the symphony band. I thought to myself, this is like a real symphony. I think it's because it actually was a real symphony. It was a great performance. I think it was an evaluation. I'm sure we won because we were the best. But it was really moving that these high school kids put this together. I heard at the last minute, kind of late. It was very moving and an excellent presentation. So I just thank Mr. Spruill and the work he does with the band. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mosteller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to congratulate everyone that was recognized tonight, and I look forward to reading the hidden stories of our citizens from
about spring, and I'm excited to watch all of the high school sports. So good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to just remind everyone we do not have a prior meeting prior to the PEF event coming up, but April the 12th is our PEF golf event, and that's taking the place of the previous event. And it's April the 12th from 12 to 8. It's a great course, Williamsburg Golf Club in Williamsburg, and we're making a final push to get more vendors and more teams and more sponsorships as part of the event. So we've been working very diligently to prepare for that event, and we continue to have the board's support, which we always will give them support as well. So again, that date is April the 12th, and it's a noon shotgun start. So should be a really good event. We're hoping for good weather that day as well. So
Thank you, sir. Mr. Troutman.
About the Poquoson Education Foundation, I just want to thank them for Mark Tyler Nobleman. I've got 2 kids in the system, and they both came home. The first thing to talk about was that event, so that was a lot of fun. So thank you for the Education Foundation for that support. Additionally, to recognize another school system, Newport News City Schools let us come over and look at the Denby Aviation Academy and got to tour that facility, and that's really exciting about what we're going to be able to bring to our kids. Thank that school system for giving us time and a tour.
Thank you, Ms. Sheeler.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank the Poquoson Education Foundation so much for their support of some of the events that happened at that were shown at the Instructional Showcase. It was really fun to talk to everyone there. I talked to a young man who showed me how wire and foil gum wrappers and Play-Doh and a power source would set up this whole lighting set. It was fascinating, and he would take it apart. It's a project-based learning deal. He would take it apart and put it back together and show me how, well, it doesn't work this way, but it works really well this way. Yes, very exciting. I also spoke to a young scientist who explained how different materials mound when you put them. I had to go back a couple times to get this one straight. When you spread them out, like sand will mound differently from mud and different things like that. And she said she was interested in taking it a little bit further and exploring how buildings, what kind of materials would work best for buildings in areas that are in danger of earthquakes and that kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is just too cool. And then there was another group who explored how the way that questions are phrased in surveys significantly impacts the resulting answers. Wow, thank you, Educational Foundation, for providing the support for those items and for making those kids so excited about what they might go on and explore later on.
Thank you very much. Lots of exciting things going on, and of course it doesn't happen without the volunteers in the community, of course, but also teachers, staff, and admin. Your work is greatly appreciated. It really is. So never feel like you're not appreciated for all you do. We thank you immensely. Do we have any material for board review?
You do not.
And with that, we will adjourn to the work session.